I'm a very happy man today. And why did I say that? Because I have peace. Financially, I'm very stable because I have my own business. My love life is blessed because I'm married to a woman of God. Spiritually, I'm very strong. I overcome any problems that may appear before me. But it wasn't always like this. It was very tough at the beginning. When my first marriage broke down, I became depressed. I became alcoholic. I was hooked on alcohol, drugs, gambling, all kind of addiction. And that got me into a lot of trouble. I ended up owing people 43,000 pounds, which I couldn't find a way out of that. And that's how I came to the church. And I got an immediate help, advice, what to do, how to use my faith to overcome all this problem, that God could help me. I said, okay, I was ready to do anything. So the first thing I started doing was to make a chain of prayers to be set free from whatever spirit was behind all these problems. So I was coming on Fridays for my deliverance, and Monday for my financial breakthrough to be free from all these debts, and Wednesday to get to know God, to learn the Word of God and how to put it into practice. And I was doing this for years. But what I noticed was within the first 7 weeks of the chain of prayers, I gave up gambling. And the drug, I was not too eager to go for drugs because I could see the improvement in my financial life. I got a good job. And because I was sweating for this money, I didn't feel to spend it on drugs. I was reluctant. I gave up alcohol. The last thing I gave up was cigarette. So that is through practicing what I learned from the church, making purposes of faith. The most important thing to really set you free is sacrifice. You should be ready to sacrifice. I've come a long way, but I will advise people who found themselves in the same situation to seek for help, and you have nothing to lose. You can only go up. Listen to the advice, make chains of prayers, put into practice what you learn from the church, and trust in God by making constant sacrifices, and He will transform your life.
Welcome to tonight's Finding Answers. It's Thursday night, and normally people say Thursday is a new Friday, right? It's near the weekend, and people are happy that the weekend is coming where they can, spend the time with family, go out, do whatever they want to do. But maybe for you watching now, Thursday night is like any other night for you, where you're not able to sleep. Maybe your nights are troubled. You toss and you turn. You're worried about your life, your problems. And no matter what you try to do, whether you try to drink alcohol to knock yourself out, maybe you take medication, but that's not helping, but you can't sleep. What the doctors label insomnia, that's what you have. You cannot sleep. If you find yourself in this situation and you are fed up and you want to sleep, you want this night to be the first night in a long time that you have a decent night's sleep, I want to invite you. The lines are open now. They are on your screen. I would like to invite you to give us a call, and you are going to speak to someone who will be able to help you. If you want a decent night's sleep, maybe your nights are your days, and your days are your nights. That's why you're unemployed. You're not able to work because you keep losing jobs, because you fall asleep during the day. If you want a change, then give us a call. The number is 0207 686 6300. That's 0207 686 6300. Now, let's go to tonight's video to explain more about this topic.
Change is constant. As the chapters of your past close, new chapters get written every day. It often appears daunting to move forward. Sometimes the things that were important to you no longer are. But you don't have to leave everything behind in order to change and to move forward. If there are positive influences in your life and they fit with your overall plan, then there is no need to leave them behind. But negative influences and temptation may throw you off track. If these are left behind, then you will be able to successfully move forward in the right direction. If you are afraid about moving forward, then you may find reframing the challenge as an opportunity useful. Rather than panicking about the difficulty you'll face if you embrace change, offer it to yourself as a chance to learn something new. It is particularly effective if you see it as an adventure, something that adds spice to your life. Just accept the possibility that the change can prove good for you if you let it. Because if you take a risk, you might just find what you're looking for.
There you go. In life, we have to experience change. It's inevitable. Some people take change, they view it in a positive light. Others do not like change. But what happens when changes take place in your life for the worst? Things happen so quickly, so much, all at once, you don't know what to do. Tonight's topic is called Change is Moving Forward. That's what it means. And some people don't like to move forward, or should I say they don't like change. But maybe that change that needs to take place means you leaving your comfort zone, leaving the safety net, and moving on with your life. And if you want, you're going to stay tuned, because our guest tonight went through so many problems, so many things in his life, his young life, that change for him was a negative thing. But you're going to see how change for him now is something he embraces. All right? With me tonight is Victoria. Hi, Victoria.
Hiya.
How are you doing?
I'm good, thanks.
Any comments on tonight's topic?
Well, I was just thinking then, actually, I was wondering whether you need change first in order to move forward, or whether you move forward in order to make change. That's just something that
Interesting
I was thinking.
Interesting question.
But in order to move forward from something, then inevitably there will need to be a change. But people are often fearful of change because it involves the unknown and uncertainty. But living in the past with regret, guilt, and a fixation on possibly negative experience can actually prevent you from moving forward in the present and therefore into the future. So this does mean that you will need to think about any mistakes that you may have made that you don't actually want to repeat, and to obviously avoid procrastination, as the problem will only seem to get worse. And often people will make up excuses as to why they have too many obstacles in their path, and this is usually actually just down to fear. But trying to acknowledge and accept that change can bring with it positives and a new start, this will help you move forward step by step.
Yeah, I think we've all gone through that phase, well, most of us who embrace change, you know, they've gone through that stage where change seems something hard, daunting to actually face. But once you kind of overcome that fear, then you embrace change. You don't mind. You're ready for any circumstances, right? Of course, it's natural to kind of be in a certain safe position, a certain safe state, and move on in life. But sometimes being in that situation can cause complacency. It causes us not to grow, to learn, to develop ourselves. And so change is necessary. Maybe you find it hard to face change. You know, a death in the family. Maybe, you know, you've had to up and leave one country and move to another. You've landed yourself here in the UK, and everything for you seems strange. Maybe for you, change in a job, change in position at work, nothing is stable anymore for you. You know, you're up one minute, you're down the next. Your future's uncertain. So what do I do in that situation? Well, hopefully on tonight's program, we're going to help you to embrace change. So change is not always negative. Think of it as moving forward. All right? Now, Victoria, she's going to be reading to you or giving to you the details of how to contact us during this program.
So you can talk to one of our advisors at any point during the show. Our number is 020 7686 6300, or feel free to send us an email. Our email address is help@findinganswers.tv, or talk to us via social media. Just send us a tweet. Start your tweet with @FindAnswersTV, or search for us on Facebook. Just search for Finding Answers.
There you have it. Those are the contact details. If you'd like to give us a call or email us on tonight's program. Now, Victoria, your question about change. Repeat again for the viewers at home?
Well, I was just thinking, do you need change first in order to move forward?
Right.
Or do you move forward then to initiate change?
What do you think? It depends. My answer to that is that it depends on the situation. Sometimes change happens that you have no control over, and so you've got to move on. But I think there's some things that we need to change here. It starts with our mentality, right? If you think positively, if you think, you know what, I can't be in this situation for long. I know things are going to change, so let me already start thinking positively. How am I going to work in this new environment, in this new phase or situation in my life? So that's my answer. What do you think?
Yeah, no, it's true. I suppose, I was thinking about it. I suppose if you're thinking about the end of a relationship or something, then like psychologically you would need to move forward, wouldn't you, the way that you're thinking, and then that would lead to a change in your life. But like you said, so it could be something very much out of your control that could cause a change, and then you would need to think about it.
If you are in any of these situations, then as I said, feel free to contact us at any time if you want some advice, if you want a prayer, even if you want to contribute to this program by asking any questions, or even asking a question to our guest this evening, then the contact details are on your screen. All right, we're going to go for a break now, and when we come back, we're going to meet our guest for this evening. We'll see you after this.
Hi, the Chrissy B Show airs live on Mondays, Wednesdays and Fridays, coming to your homes with entertainment, life issues as well as hard-hitting topics, coupled with friendly and practical advice. I love to look at the happier side of life and believe a person can achieve amazing things when they put their mind to it. The Chrissy B Show, always aiming to show you the happier side of life.
Uplifting.
Diverse. Vibrant. Dynamic.
Powerful. Youthful.
Informative.
Energizing. Passionate.
Motivational.
Freedom.
Lively.
Excitement.
Welcome back to Finding Answers. If you just joined us, tonight's topic is change is moving forward. My guest tonight experienced two types of change, the negative and also the positive. Let's meet him now.
It's pushing me for the rest of the week, so it's like a boost.
Things were really tight.
Today, the way I see myself is completely different.
My guest tonight is Alex Bonnick. Hi, Alex.
Hi.
Welcome to the program.
Yeah.
So, regarding change,
Yeah.
you experienced change firstly in a negative way,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Tell us, in your young life, what happened to you? Where did things kind of start to go wrong for you?
Well, it all started off when I was young. I basically grew up in a house, single mother, free. I was basically the oldest one out of my siblings. So what it was is because I never had a father figure in the house, I was basically considered as the man in the house, seeing that I was the only child. So, in my head I was thinking, you know what, every single day, how am I gonna obviously make money? How am I gonna obviously make my mom see me as the man, as the head, seeing that my dad wasn't there.
Where did this idea come to you that I need to be the father figure of the house? Was it your mum saying to you? Was it, an uncle? What was it?
Well, it all started off because, when I basically grew up, I had to obviously grow up really, really fast, because it all started off when I was, 2 months old. I went to Jamaica to live with my grandma for a bit. I went on and I lived there for 12 years before I basically moved into England. But when I basically moved into England, it was only my mum and my two siblings. So, because there was no one there to support her, because she had a lot of issues going on with herself. She was mentally not stable. Mm-hmm. And my sister and my brother, they were very, very young. So, I had to kind of sort of be the one to sort of guide them in a sense. So that's where this all mentality came from. You know what? I have to be the man, I have to be the head, even though I was young, even though I was only 15, 16, but it's I had to sort of grow up fast enough in a way.
So your idea was to bring money into the house?
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Now, I'm taking that, what you just said,
yeah,
I'm sure it wasn't legally done.
Yeah, of course. So, at that age, I don't have a job, I don't have nothing. Of course, so the idea.
What did you start doing then in order to bring money into the house?
So in order to obviously bring money, I started to obviously shoplift. I would shoplift a lot. Anything that I could obviously get my hands on, whether it was clothes, phones, anything that I can obviously get my hands on, shoplift, sell it, make money. I also wanted to get into drugs as well, because I grew up with a lot of bad influences around me, family members doing illegal stuff. So I wanted to obviously get involved with them in order to obviously make money to support myself and also my younger siblings and help my mum out as well.
So you used to sell drugs?
I never actually sold drugs at the time, but I wanted to. I wanted to obviously start getting into that, because shoplifting obviously wasn't bringing in enough money. So the only thing I thought of that would bring in enough money is obviously selling drugs.
Okay. Your mum at the time, she wasn't working?
No, she was not working. My mum wasn't working. No one in the house was obviously working.
Mm-hmm. So you going out shoplifting?
Yeah.
How much would you what was the most money you made in a day or a week?
Well, it varies really. From all the stuff that I would gather together, I could make $1,000, depending on, who my customers were, who I would obviously sell to, what I was basically selling.
1,000 in a day or a week?
No, in a week. In a week.
Okay. And out of that £1,000,
yeah,
how much what would you do? Would you buy things, or would you give it to your mum? Or
what I would do is that I would probably just, give half of it to my mum, and then half of it I would obviously keep to myself. It varies, but obviously anything to obviously get money or some sort of income coming in, then I would do pretty
Wasn't
much.
your mum suspicious of anything?
She obviously was, but at the end of the day, she knew exactly what I was doing, but she never wanted to say much because she knew that whatever I would do to bring money in the house, then, you know, like, she couldn't, you know, tell me, oh, don't do this, don't do that.
No, no young person in their right mind is going to do what you did and be happy about it.
Yeah.
So how did you feel?
To be honest with you, I feel, you know, bad. I feel bad because I knew what I was doing was not right. But at the end of the day, I couldn't obviously help it because of the situation that I basically like grew up in. Like many times, you know, I would sit down by myself, feeling depressed, feeling sad. I had, you know, suicidal thoughts because I think to myself, I can't obviously like continue like this. I don't obviously like want to be living the life that I'm living. I want things to change. I want things to be different. But it seems as if I was basically stuck in a box. It's like I'm in a box, like there's no way out kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. Did you kind of suppress those feelings? You try to forget about reality? I don't know, did you drink? Did you smoke, take drugs or anything? Just to temporarily kind of forget about your situation at all?
To be honest with you, I never used to drink. I never used to, you know, smoke as such, but I used to like to, you know, to go out with friends, you know, like, you know, hang around on the streets, like go partying and stuff like that, you know, just to enjoy the moment, just to, you know, forget about everything, you know, that I was going through. But then like when I come back home, the same, you know, depression, the same suicidal thoughts, all those things would, you know, kick back in again. And it's almost as if I go all the way back to square one again. Yeah, pretty much.
Did you ever cry yourself to sleep? Did you ever cry?
Sometimes, yeah, I will cry, but it's more internally. I will never ever, you know, show my emotions outside. It's like you can look at me like every single day. Yeah, you might think, yes, I'm smiling. But deep down, I'm sad. Like deep down, it's like a pain inside my heart. Do you know what I mean? It's deep down, like everything was there. It was like a baggage, but I just didn't know how to express it.
Yeah. Were you at school or college during this time?
At that time, I basically finished school and I was going into college. So all this was when I was in my 16, 17, 18, going into college. Kind of thing.
How did that affect your studies?
Well, to be honest with you, like I was a smart guy, like I'm not gonna lie, like I used to get, even though I was going through all these, you know, problems in school, yeah, because I was, you know, very intelligent, I would, you know, scrape through, like I would get by. But even though I was doing well, like I could have done much better if I wasn't, you know, going through the things that I was basically going through, to be honest.
So you, as you said, you just scraped through college?
Yeah, I just basically scraped through college. I would basically pass with, you know, average grades.
What was your, obviously, you know, you could have done better, right?
Yeah.
What was your gift? What was your talent? What did you like doing?
Well, basically, it all started off, I liked sports when I was in school. Like, you know, I was a massive, you know, sports fan. Started off with football. Used to play for my college academy. You know, like was very, very good in the defense. I used to love running as well. I was a really, really fast runner, like when I was in school. Right. You know, often come first and second in like races and things like that.
So you're quite very sporty.
Yeah, very sporty.
But you didn't see that as a way to kind of channel your anger, your energy at that time?
No, never. I just saw it as, you know what, I'm good at it. There you go. Leave it at that. Never really, you know, took it as serious back then. Was
there any other problems that you developed or you experienced during this time?
Like majority of my problems, well, is mainly sort of like the friends that I hang around with, because the people that I used to hang around with, they were basically like in gangs. So because they were in gangs, you know, we used to have, you know, problems with, you know, other people that in different boroughs. So there were times when I couldn't basically, you know, go to a different borough without, you know, being seen, because, you know, people would obviously like be after me kind of thing. So it's like when I step out of my house, it's almost as if I have to constantly like be looking over like my shoulder, because I was involved in gangs. We used to like fight a lot. We used to, you know, go to different boroughs, go to different schools, and obviously like cause like fight, cause trouble. You know, many times I would obviously like be stopped and searched on the by police. Like many times, like when I was on the road, I couldn't go a day without, you know, police calling me to the side,
Really?
wanting to search me. It was horrible.
Now, imagine going through that. How did that make you feel?
To be honest with you, it made me feel sad. I'm not gonna lie. I really, really like feel sad. I wasn't happy like with the life I was living. Every single day, I wanted a way out. I wanted to change, but I didn't know how. Do you know what I mean? I thought, you know what, that was the only way. Life is gonna be like that forever. That's pretty much how I feel.
So, as you mentioned, I was gonna ask that question next. You couldn't see a way out. Where did you envision yourself in the future? What could you see a future for yourself?
No, to be honest with you, like all I could see at the time was me going to prison. I'm not gonna lie, like that's all I could see, like me ended up in prison or possibly even dead, because, you know, I was getting involved in so many things that were, you know, dangerous, that were, you know, like risky kind of thing.
Could you mention anything, any of those things?
You know, like for example, I had, you know, family members that were, you know, into drugs, for example, and obviously like I was obviously like getting involved in that. I was obviously like putting myself in a risky like situation.
So you could, I mean, did any of your family kind of get hurt or, you know, involved with the police?
Yeah, you know, I had a family member that was in prison for like years because of something that he did many years ago. Like majority of my family members, like, you know, majority of cousins that I had, that were, you know, in problems, that were in trouble.
So even though you knew that they were in trouble, especially this one relative who was in prison for a long time, still it didn't deter you from kind of wanting to go down that route. Was it still to make money, or is it like, now I'm in too deep now, it's not about the money anymore and supporting mum, this is the lifestyle, this is how I am?
To be honest with you, it was mainly to do with money. In my head, I was thinking to myself, you know what, maybe if I had, you know, some income coming in, maybe if, you know, life was better or I could see a way out, then I would have possibly sort of like, you know, eventually like take myself out of that situation. But all the things that, you know, I was involved in, all the things that I was going through was related, you know, to money issues, to money like problems.
Okay. So look, maybe you find yourself in a similar situation. Maybe not exactly what Alex has gone through, but you can't see a way out. You can't see a future for yourself. You know, and maybe, you know, Alex's life, he's going to tell you his story, how his life changed after the break. So it's possible for your life to change for the good. But maybe you can't see your life change. If things happened in your life, change that happened that got you where you are now, and you're not happy, don't you think that there can be positive change to get you out of this mess and lead you to where, you know, you want to be, where you desire, where you dream to be? And maybe your future seems like a distant dream. It seems far away, it's unreachable. Well, I can tell you, that dream or that desire, your wish, is actually possible, okay? If you want, you can give us a call at any time, even during the break, if you want an advice, if you want help, or even someone to say a prayer for you, if you believe in prayer, all right? You're free to give us a call at any time, and whatever you want, we'll be there to help you, all right? We'll see you after this break.
The pursuit of happiness. What will make you happy? Success? Fame? New shoes? Financial security? Love? Education? Independence? Family? Sometimes in the pursuit of things we think will bring us happiness, sometimes we fail to see that we aren't happy or we never find it. We live in a world of people. Rather than pursue things to make you happy, what if we all worked to make each other happy? Wouldn't we all be happier?
Welcome back to Finding Answers. Tonight our topic is change is moving forward. So let's go to the general public on the streets of London to see what they have to say about this topic.
Definitely depression is probably number one.
They're arguing and they're talking negatively about each other.
What is more valuable than another? And so
you can have as many friends and family as you want. It just depends.
Is a common regret, like, oh, like I should have like asked that person out, or like.
Hi, I'm Chika here on the streets of London for Finding Answers. Tonight we're talking about change. Change is constant, but why are people so fearful of it? That's just what I'm going to be asking the general public. Let's see what they say.
How do you see change, and why do you think people are so fearful of it?
Change. We don't relate change with comfort. Change is difficult. We talk about comfort zones. Change is getting out of your comfort zone. So I think a lot of people, I don't know. Change is the unknown, so it can relate to danger. It has lots of negative associations.
Well, I work in technology and there's constant change virtually every day. So for me, I don't see the challenge in it, but I can understand for some are used to things that don't move quite so quickly. That it's a challenge just making that kind of transition. But inevitably, it's partly education, it's partly experience, and partly situations you find yourself in. So I can understand it, but for me, it's no problem.
I think people are fearful of change when they don't know who they are, and they're afraid of what they don't know, and they're afraid to grow.
Personally, I love change. I think change is really good, and I think we need to embrace change. I think particularly from a political perspective, if you consider change and how that impacts people, there's a lot of fear, and there's some good reasons for fear, but I think especially at the moment with so much austerity and the government, the policies that are being brought in, the cuts to spending, everyone's being kept quite fearful, and that means people are really reluctant to look at change and to consider what individuals can do either themselves or collectively to try and bring about change in society. So that's what I think change is a good thing, and we need it.
Do we need it? Do you need it? Well, I think we do. If you are finding change quite strange, then just listen to Alex's story of how, change worked for him. Alex,
Yes.
Before we hear about how your life changed for the positive, what was the worst moment for you?
Okay, so the worst moment was basically like one day, I was walking, and when I was on, obviously like as I'm walking on the road, like just a normal day, I heard that someone basically like got shot 5 minutes ago. So as I was walking, I basically turned around and I looked behind. I saw 2 policemen, come, behind me with, big guns. They basically like cornered me up in the middle of the road, told me like not to move, asked me, a lot of questions, like where you're coming from, like who are you? It was basically to find out if I was the, the guy that basically like just, shot the guy down the road. And that, for me, that was the worst moment because I've never been arrested or been stopped and searched like that on like in the middle of the street, 2 police guys, with guns. So, like as I went through that, I basically like went home and I basically said to myself, you know what, like I can't continue living like this. Do you know what I mean? I can't continue in this situation, can't really come out of my house without being stopped and searched, this person's after me, that person's after me. So I thought to myself, you know what, I need to change and I need to take action. Something needs to happen.
Did you kind of do something about it, or did you just wait for some change to take place?
I started to think, what can I do in order to change my situation? What can I do in order, to come out of the situation?
Did you take steps to do? Would you start doing anything on your own?
I started to do, I started to take, action in order to obviously like change my life, in order to change, like the position or where I'm at right now.
Did it completely work?
Yes, it did. It did, yeah.
And how was that change? Tell us about that.
So basically, it all started off when my grandma invited me to this church. And then when I basically like came to this church, I remember the advisor that was there. It was, saying that, look, you need to change your life. In order for you to change your life, you got to, start to think positive, change your mindset, change the way you see things, stop doing, all the stuff that you're doing.
You went to your grand's church.
Yes.
Did you go specifically to talk to someone, or did you take part in a meeting?
I basically took part in a meeting at my nan's church, and like in that meeting, the advisor was basically, speaking about change in general. He was speaking about how can you change your life, your habits, your routine.
Right.
So some of the things that he was basically speaking about, I basically took that for myself and I started to apply it.
So tell me, in your situation, what kind of advice did the advisor tell you to do?
So he basically, told me to, first things first, stop doing what I'm doing, like come off the street, basically, come off the street, come off the roadside, the roadside, stop hanging out with people that are not good for you, start to look for a job, start to, take my education more seriously, basically, and start to be more serious. And
that was the kind of practical advice.
Yeah.
It's a church, as you said.
Yeah.
What was the spiritual advice? What did he advise you to do on a spiritual level?
Well, he basically advised me to basically surrender my life to God, basically surrender my life, surrender everything, put everything in his hands. And when I started to do that, that's when I started to see a change in my inner being, in my inside. So after a while, I was no longer depressed. I was no longer suicidal. It's like I had this peace inside of me, all of a sudden, which was a massive surprise because it's been years since, I never had no peace whatsoever. Inside I was always trouble. But when the advisor told me to, surrender my life to God, to put, everything in his hands, it's almost as if I woke up every single day not worried like at all.
So you started praying about your life.
Yeah, I started praying.
As you said, when the police stopped you, your worst moment, you surrendered.
Yeah.
Right? You lift up your hand and said, okay, police officer, look, what is it? No, it wasn't me that shot this guy. And it's the same thing on the spiritual level with God.
With God, yeah, pretty much. It was like a total surrender. So anything he said for me to like not to do, I wouldn't do it basically. Like I would just, follow like his teachings, his word.
Because in your head you could be thinking, you know what, this is the only life that I know. I'm gonna continue down this route, this dark road, right?
Yeah.
Because I can't believe that God or church or what you're telling me can change my life.
Yeah.
But by you following the advice, you were actually surrendered. Look, I've tried everything, hasn't worked, but now I'm gonna surrender my will, my thoughts, I'm gonna give it up to God.
Yeah,
and then
much.
He has to kind of look after me, take care of me.
Exactly, like that was how it is. I mean, obviously, like if I was to be honest with you, I wasn't a massive fan of church and all these kind of things. For me, I was thinking to myself, it's not gonna work. But as soon as, like what you said, as soon as I started to surrender and started to obviously like give God a try, then that's when things started to change. That's when things started to move forward.
Tell me, what did you get out of surrendering your life to God? Where is Alex's life today?
So like, from surrendering my life to God, I, basically discovered like my talent, as I mentioned previously, for sports. I started to discover my talent, in athletics.
Okay.
I basically started off, at a local track, like near to where I live, running. Then from there, because I got, so good, started going to, competitions, started winning. Basically like got, invited to the European team championships, like for my club to compete.
What's your club? Can you mention their name?
Yeah, Hernhill Harriers.
Hernhill Harriers
is my local club.
Okay.
Yeah, based in Tooting. So, like they basically select me to go away to Italy to compete for them in the European Club Championships.
You represented Great Britain, England?
England,
okay.
Mainly England, and from there, basically like won a gold medal in the long jump, and then I came third in the 4x1. So obviously, like I had that success, and then from that success, it motivated me to obviously like go on and like going for bigger things. I got invited by my university to go to the Olympic Stadium to represent them to compete in the actual Olympic Stadium as like a little test event, like for the actual Olympics. So I went there, like I did really, really well there. Then after a while, I started, going to, different competitions, competing, even some competitions like abroad. I started, going to competing for like prize money and stuff.
So now your energy has been focused in your talent, which is athletics.
Yeah.
Is there anything in particular that you specialize in?
So I specialize in long jump. So I found out that, I could jump like really, really far.
Right.
And obviously, like, to be honest with you, I never really had any interest in it, but I started, like working at it, working to basically master my craft, like to basically master my talent. And from it, like things started to, explode. I even recently started my own personal training business.
Really?
Yeah, like working with, city people, like lawyers, insurance brokers, training them, getting them to lose weight, getting them into exercise, and it's been really, really good.
And in terms of your athletics, I mean the long jump, have you met any famous sports stars?
I've met, Kelly Holmes a few years ago.
Okay.
I've met Usain Bolt. Like Usain Bolt, he's pretty chilled.
Yeah.
Very, very nice. Yeah, it's pretty chilled. Like, yeah, pretty chilled. Exactly what you see on the TV is exactly the way he is as a person.
Right.
Yeah, very.
So that must have been
chilled.
like a boost for your confidence, meeting people like this.
Like, meeting people like that, it really inspired me. Do you understand what I mean? It really inspired me, especially, Kelly Holmes's story. Like, it made me think, you know what, if they can do it, I can do it myself.
Right. And, how important is faith in God in where you are today?
It's very, very important, because at the end of the day, if it wasn't for faith, if it wasn't for God, I wouldn't have taken the change that I need to take in order to move forward. It was through faith, it was through God that, you know, I was able to, you know, to take that step, to take the change in order, you know, for my life to move forward, in order, you know, for things to progress.
And probably you wouldn't have discovered your talent.
My talent.
Right? You'd probably be in
the same situation.
Or a cell.
Yeah, pretty much.
Alex, thanks for coming and sharing your story with us, okay?
Yeah.
Keep on going, all right?
Yes, I will.
Next Olympic Games.
You see me there. You see me there.
So, there you have it. A success story. Someone who embraced change for the better. Now, if you don't think change is good, well, look at Alex's story. And many others who had to embrace change in order to see a change in their lives. We're going to go for a break, and when we do, there will be time for the prayer, all right? So stay tuned, get a glass of water ready, because we'll be back to bless your life.
She told me, you are beautiful. I love you. Say again. You are beautiful.
Your destination. A destination that's not defined by your circumstances, by what's happening to you now, by what happened to you in the past.
So today was my first time and I absolutely loved it.
Come and see. They need to come and really test it.
You are a warrior, and we need these qualities that you have to come and defend our household.
Just a big eye opener on how positive changes will make such a big difference in all that I do, so yeah.
What captured me was the title, The Inner Healing, because I've been going through a lot in my life and I've overcome them, but there were things that I needed to deal with that were deep down on the inside. And it was the inner healing that captured my thoughts. And I was intrigued to find out what was going on.
You get what you give out.
Women need this. Women need a meeting like this.
Hiding in my skin, broken from within, unveil me completely. I'm loosening my grasp. There's no need to mask my frailty, 'cause you see the real me.
Has the US been steering killer drones? Aircraft missiles won't reach Syria for several months. Will make fighter jets to be outside.
Welcome back to Finding Answers. Now, before we go for the prayer, I would like just to tell you something. God, He wants us to change. We're not born in a perfect world. We are imperfect. Yet, we can, or He can see in us the potential to change. If you're not happy with your life, God gives us directions. He gives us rules, regulations, some even commandments. Things that if we do follow them, our lives will be better off. And don't we learn this in school? You know, if you go to school, if you go to join a club or a society, right? There are rules and regulations in place that we must follow, all for our good. There are health and safety rules. There are rules and regulations on something as simple as filling in a form, right? There are lots of things that help us. And if we follow those rules, we'll be able to get what we want, something positive out of it. And it's the same with God. God wants us to follow His ways so that we can change and be better human beings, better people overall. And His ways, His laws, His advice is the best. And maybe you're afraid, like I was. I was afraid, using the words that Alex said, surrendering my life, because I was worried about the future. I was a very fearful person. I used to like to stay in my comfort zone. But recently, over the years, I have learned to embrace change. I'm ready for challenges. I'm ready to face a new challenge. You know, I'm not stuck in the same position. I'm not pigeonholed, right? Here's my comfort zone and that's it. So if you find it difficult, if you find it hard for change, then I want to pray with you now. If you want to better yourself, you want to grow, you want to develop, it's time for prayer.
Prepare now for the moment of prayer. If you would like us to make a prayer concerning your spiritual well-being, send your name and prayer request to help@findinganswers.tv.
My Lord and my God, in the name of your Son, Jesus Christ, I pray now for this viewer who has found themselves in the same place, this person who is afraid of change, situations that have come to them that has changed them into someone negative, someone who has lost hope in life, hope in others, my God. They've even lost any hope in you. But my God, if this person decides to embrace change, then their life will start moving forward. And with your help tonight, my God, I say this prayer, asking you to help this person to embrace change, to look at change as something positive, not to run away from it, but to face it, even though it might be hard for this person. They may have lost a family member or friend. Maybe, my Lord, a situation has occurred in their finances, their career, their family or relationships, their love life, a health situation, my God, that has changed the way they have to live their lives. My God, heal this person now. Repair, my God, or heal the wounds, my Father, so that this person will be able to move forward and enjoy their life, the life that you have always wanted for him or her. So, my God, I present this water to you, and I ask you to bless it. Bless this glass of water. And when they will drink it, my God, remove this fear, this worry about the future. Remove all the doubts, my God, and help this person to look forward, to embrace change, to see change in a positive way. In the name of the Lord Jesus Christ. Drink this water now, and may this fear be removed from your heart and your mind. In Jesus' name. There you have it. I hope that tonight's program has helped you. Alex's story was an inspiration for you, all right? And as I said, if you want more, then please give us a call at any time. There'll be someone to help you with tonight's topic. Until the next time, have a wonderful night. Bye-bye.